Hello everyone, and welcome to another Top 5 Records video. It is the month of October, and I think that's one of the most amazing times of the year. Why? Because of Halloween. And I just love horror movies. I love the scary decorations. I love records with horror themes. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about 10 albums that will make your Halloween perfect. Now, these 10 albums, some have just horror themes and some will be genuinely scary to listen to. And the first records that I'm be talking about, those will be mild, horror themed, maybe good to listen to with children even, but the one on top of this list, it will frighten you, as it frightens me. So, counting down, and starting at number 10 with The Cramps, Songs the Lord Taught Us. I think they come with the most bizarre sort of genre. There is a strong 50s rock and roll influence here. The production sound reminds more of punk and post-punk, and thematically they are in a complete love of horror. You got songs like I Was a Teenage Werewolf, love that one, Zombie Dance, What's Behind the Mask. The theme of horror is just overall present, and this will be a beautiful record to put on during your Halloween party. At number 10, The Cramps with Songs the Lord Taught Us. At number 9, I'm going for a very, very obscure record. This is from Long Tall Ernie and the Shakers. And the record is called Meet the Monsters. Now let's begin with, I love the artwork. But I think a lot of followers are watching this and thinking, who are Long Tall Ernie and the Shakers? Well, they actually are a Dutch band. And I even think that a lot of Dutch people watching may not have heard from Long Tall Ernie and the Shakers. Because basically, before I was introduced to this specific record, I didn't know about them as well. In the 70s, in the late 70s, they were working on a television show with songs about monsters. You can see some of the stills on the back, and I'm laughing because it's really playful and it's really funny. And I saw the television special, which is just great fun. You got songs all inspired by classic monsters. The first song is The Mummy, which is a very cheeky, fun song. Frankenstein is great. Quasimodo, Spoken, Voodoo Stomp. Voodoo Stomp is the beautiful rhythm, melody. Witches. I guess not all the songs are on here, or there may be some songs that are in the special and not on this record, like Phantom of the Opera. It's on here. Phantom of the Opera is on here. These are just so playful, and you can see in the video that they have so much fun. Thing is, though, this record sounds so much better than the video. The entire look and feel of this record makes it for me a perfect Halloween revisit. So at number 9, Long Tall Ernie and the Shakers, Meet the Monsters. At number 8, this was not meant as a Halloween record, but I definitely think this will set the mood. It's getting slightly spookier. Nico with The Marble Index. Now, this is a different kind of record than the other two, they are basically also a bit goofy. They're goofy records. This is Nico discovering her voice, discovering her genre, and this may well be the first gothic rock album. Some people say that The End by the Doors is the first gothic rock song. I think they may be right. And at the time, Nico was in a relationship with Jim Morrison of the Doors, and she got influenced by that. And after she was unsatisfied with the sound and feel of her first solo album, she went on to ask John Cale to produce her second one, and she just invented this dark, haunting, atmospheric sound that is like darkness in a church. It's candles that are flying above the ceiling, but not in a Harry Potter kind of way. Beautiful, atmospheric, haunting record. And if you imagine her voice embracing all the dissonances, that is Nico the Marble Index. At number 8, Nico's the Marble Index. At number 7, this is more goofing around, but the lyrics may have an edge which may be inappropriate for young children. But basically this is Halloween goofing around. Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz. A gorgeous, gorgeous album. This record has so many great Ozzy Osbourne songs like Crazy Train, Suicide Solution, Mr. Crowley, Revelation, Mother Earth, which is really good. Overall, look at the artwork. Just Ozzy Osbourne goofing around, this exorcist element to it. But you can see, I mean, when you look in his eyes, when you look at the makeup, he wasn't trying to genuinely scare you, in my opinion. I think this is the period in which Ozzy Osbourne was obviously more about clowning around, while in the early Black Sabbath years, they were out to scare you. This is horror-themed goofing with incredible songs. So many great songs. I Don't Know. Really good Crazy Train. Yeah, a beautiful record for Halloween. At number 6, the first soundtrack, actually. And I think when you talk about scary music, you gotta involve some horror soundtracks. I think this is about one of the best horror soundtracks out there. It's by a band called Goblin. And Goblin were a progressive rock band from the 70s in Italy. And after a while, they got in touch with Dario Argento. Dario Argento is, how can I say this? He means the world to me. I'm a massive horror geek, and Dario Argento is one of the most creative, daring directors that we have ever seen. Some people call him the Italian Hitchcock. I think that's not right. I love Hitchcock, but Argento could completely lose himself in the delicacy of excessive grand murder choreography. And what would he do on set to set the mood and to see how far he could stretch things? He'd play music by Goblin. And he did, by the way, more. I mean, his architecture. There are so many brilliant things in his films. This is just one of the things he did. But the involvement of Goblin music, whether it be Suspiria or this one, Profondo Rosso, is very important for his work. And this one, I think that Profondo Rosso is even better than Suspiria, because this soundtrack just has so much to offer. When you listen to a soundtrack album, how do I say this correctly? 9 out of 10 times you have one theme recurring that is in your mind and for which you bought the soundtrack album. Sometimes you have soundtrack albums that have 2 or 3, but this is one of those in which every song has its own unique quality, every theme. the title track Profondo Rosso. It's the dum 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 dum, and the way the bass gets in there. Fully authentic, real Italian vibe here. And there are so many great songs here. There's this, I believe it's called School at Night, which is this sort of nursery rhyme, which goes completely haunting. Great soundtrack. And if you haven't seen the film, this will be one of those films to watch this October. At number 6, yeah, I am correct. At number 6, Deep Purple Profondo Rosso. At number 5, I am not sure if this record was even meant to be scary, but I find it very frightening. It's Comus' first Utterance. This is an amazing psychedelic folk album from the UK, early 70s. Even if you just look at this cover, it has a haunting quality. But when you put it on, it actually reminds me of The Witcher. That's am I saying the right title? No, not The Witch, but The Wicker Man. The Wicker Man. This reminds me of The Wicker Man. It's as if you're lost in the woods and as if some hippie cult may be haunting and singing, and there are these old folklore elements that are hunting beneath the trees. And it's brilliant. I mean, the songwriting, everything about it is brilliant. It's so progressive. It's so gorgeous. But it also sets the mood for a rather haunting Halloween. If you're new to progressive or psychedelic folk, this will definitely strike you, no doubt about it. At number 5, Comus' first Utterance. At number 4, another and the last actually soundtrack album. I could do an entire video about horror soundtracks, and I think I will do that sometime in the future. I had to put this one in. It is John Carpenter's The Fog. If you haven't seen The Fog, it's not that scary. I love it. It's one of my favorite horror films, but it's mostly one of my favorite horror films because it is the atmosphere. Director John Carpenter, who's also the composer of this record, he creates the story of a town, a town near the sea, that is celebrating its birthday. But decades ago, on that particular day, something happened to a ship, and then suddenly on this day, a very big fog comes from the sea, and there may be something in that fog. Now, John Carpenter tells the story from different perspectives. He tells it from different characters, and one of those characters is a radio hostess of a show in a big lighthouse, and that lighthouse with the radio station is being broadcast all around town, which is a beautiful way of getting all the storylines together, and also to have an oversight on what the fog is doing and the fog nearing in. And it's just one of those, the most atmospheric infighting horror movies. Not that scary, I'd say. The soundtrack does a lot of its scare and horror factor. It's this slow, haunting synthesizer that sets the mood and then suddenly can bang and be frightening. I had a date over, and I should not have put this on. Let's say I should not have put this on because it got a little too frightening. At number 4, The Fog by John Carpenter. Also, I've seen John Carpenter perform the main theme of this record live a couple of years ago. And if John Carpenter is in your neighborhood, don't doubt, go and see him. Go watch his show. He has so many great themes, so many great scores. He will entertain you and give you an amazing night. Now, number 3. A record I've been talking about a lot the last year, so I'll keep it short in this video. Black Sabbath's self-titled Black Sabbath. If you're interested, you can find loads of videos on my channel about the band Black Sabbath, about this record. Why is it in here? I never understood why people thought Black Sabbath was initially scary until I listened to this first Dutch pressing, in which the quality of the voice, of the quality of the sound effects like rain and thunder, they are so intense. And then when the haunting voice of Ozzy Osbourne starts singing about a big black shape that points at me, it's genuinely as if you are in a horror movie. They named themselves after a Mario Bava horror film, I Tre Volti della Paura, which was released in the UK under the title Black Sabbath. Great horror film, by the way. If you need another horror movie advice, go watch Black Sabbath. It was my first Mario Bava and I fell in love with his films. It's really awesome. But there is this haunting capacity to a lot of these songs, as if the music is genuinely scary and it may harm you. Like a really scary horror film, like in The Exorcist, as if the images, and in this case the sound, can really threaten you. Really, really good. Also, the myth regarding the woman in the picture, nobody knows who she is, where she is, what her name is, if she even lives. Love a little bit of mysticism. At number 3, Black Sabbath's Black Sabbath. Number 2. This is a record I do not dare to listen to when I'm home alone at night. It's the self-titled record by Suicide. This is a new wave band from the late 70s from New York. And it's in the list specifically because of, well, the artwork, of course, it's scary. But there's one song, Frankie Teardrop. And it's a very long song, and it's the center of this record. At least it is to me. You also have Rocket USA, great song. There are a lot of great songs here, but the center is Frankie Teardrop. Frankie Teardrop tells the story of, I believe it's a man from New York, from the working class, who seemingly out of nowhere, how can I say this politely? Well, he I have to say it like the owner of the Overlook Hotel in The Shining tells to Jack Nicholson in The Shining, because it's basically the same situation. Well, at some part he lost it, and he murdered his family. And this band tells that story with such a haunting repetition. It really feels as if you're watching one of the scariest horror films that you've ever seen. Like you're going into a state of mind that is just not comfortable. And then there is one scream on this record, on that song. It gets really, really nasty. At number 2, Suicide's self-titled album. At number 1, this is a record that I found genuinely shocking. And it's a masterpiece as well. It is Rain in Blood by Slayer. There are so many reasons why this record is actually scary. First of all, it's the aggression in the music, the sound, the way it's produced, the incredible skillful playing of the band that's just rough and hard and in your face. First of all that. Then I'll just give you a slight impression of the songs here. Angel of Death, Piece by Piece, Necrophobic, Altar of Sacrifice, Criminally Insane, Postmortem, Raining Blood. You can see it in the cover. This is haunting stuff. It's a brilliant band. They are the most skillful in what they do. They have their craft like no other. But Angel of Death is about again, how do I say this politely? It's about Der Weiße Engel is his name. Well, I'll keep it short. One of the Auschwitz doctor, the Auschwitz doctor. And I mean, if you read the lyrics, it goes. This is quite something. Only play this with your diehard horror and metal friends, because you do not want children to get involved in this. But it is brilliant. So at number 1, Slayer with Rain and Blood. I'm curious, what do you think? Do you disagree? Do you agree or disagree? Leave a comment below. See you in my next video, and happy Halloween.